Good morning and welcome to Fish of the Day presented by Doc's Daily Derbies.
Alright, I am going to end up popping a firework on this. We're going to be fishing the flathead catfish and the rifle sculpin. So I will separate the videos, so whichever one I catch first will be the video, and then I'll get the other one on a separate video. So we're going to be using the soft bait, casting at bubbles and swirls for the sculpin, and we are just going to be casting for bubbles for the flathead catfish. A lot of distractors out there, so we are just going to reel in everything we get till we get one of these. Hopefully the firework helps. Lots of bubbles out there. I generally don't enjoy lure fishing on the bottom because just some boards the bottom's not the bottom. So you can't just hit the bottom and kind of troll. Something down there. Distractor fish on this one. And that one's going to be around a lot. So you can pull your rod down. So it seemed like bottom was pretty far down there. At least we're getting action, but there's generally smallmouth bass that populate the waters pretty frequently. So at least we know this is a runner, so this may help us identify these two. This could be either or because it's on bottom. It could be the sculpin or the catfish. It could be neither. That's a shad. There were more bubbles out there. I've got this in close. I'm just going to bring it in because there's another shad by it. I want to re-catch and grab the shad. Let's see if there's a set of bubbles over right on top of them. And you can pull down. Make sure you're tapping the trigger to give it some action, though. And that is a unique. And I'm not fishing for that. It'll aggravate somebody. Some people when I let fish like that go, but not the point of this video. It's not a shad, so hopefully this is one of the two we're looking for. And it's a humpback chub. Another distractor fish. I already did a video on that. Seems about like 5 pull downs with the soft bait is the right number to get into bottom range. chub. He is no swirl refresh. And a little short dinky do cast. If you ever target fishing and your bubbles or swirls are all gone, or let's say your bubbles are gone, I think this is a mid. I think I got to the bottom. I think one of these is also mid-water, so good luck out and hit one on the way. If you have any bubble or swirl to cast that, even if it's one you cast that before, go ahead and hook that fish and quick release it, and then all your bubbles and swirls do reappear. And that was a middle fish. I did not get down to those bubbles. Lots of bubbles on this one, so hopeful. So like I said, about 5 pools down there to get you to the bottom one here. But you may not actually feel the bottom. That's why I don't like lure fishing the bottom. But the software is versatile other than the distractors. Especially for the epics on this board. It seems to be overflowing with chunks. Get the devil. And the devil appears. Remember if I did the humpback chub video on this level or not, but I should have. I am casting all the way out on these in case I've got that sculpin on top that doesn't have a swirl. I'm reeling to get to the bubbles I want. That's a catfish. I think there is another catfish on the board too. So. There is our flathead catfish. So now we can just stick to the, well, we're going to be going top and bottom on this sculpin, but I may fish just at the top for ease since I was catching a lot of distractor fish on bottom. So there we go. Best of luck and happy hunting on this one. Good morning, Doc's Daily Derbies. We are back with Fish of the Day, February 3rd, and we will be catching the red snapper at US East 11, Daytona Beach. And then we will be catching the white catfish, which is on 2 levels of US East. So let's get the red snapper first. Both of these are rare fish and are pretty easy to come by. We're just going to pull up the fish finder or use the goggles if you like, and we're going to scroll through the baits. The red snapper will be bottom or middle, tends to be at the bottom, and it's pretty frequent on this board, so you shouldn't take long. This is the board you're going to see is the first board I loaded, and I think there's 3 or 4 on there. So you're going to scroll through your baits or lures and look for a medium body fish, middle or bottom. Like I said, going to be abundant on the bottom, and if it doesn't turn green at all, that is going to be your red snapper, and then just go get the fish. I'll be float fishing on bottom because I prefer, if I'm fishing middle or bottom, to float fish. So here we go. We're going to scroll through the baits using the thumbstick. See, I've got this one, and this one. These 3 yellow ones and this yellow one right there. None of them are turning green, so those are all going to be our red snapper. So I'm going to pick something that's yellow. Hopefully we don't get this huge fish here. It looks like they've moved away a little bit, so cast one a little bit right where I was aiming. Hopefully still in range. Yellow is usually about a 6 to 8 second wait on getting your bite indicator. So I may cast too far to the right. Yeah, and he's moving around a lot too, so. A little short. Mastering the short cast can be tough. Here we go. And that was about a 6 to 8 second count, which is good to know when you're target fishing, knowing how long the different bait colors take for a fish to show interest. And it's not the exact same on every single fish, but usually 6 to 8 seconds on a fish that would be yellow for a bait, which is good to know when you're trying to do a fish like this on expert mode if you're not able to use the goggles. Look for something that's yellow. Alright, there we go. It's our red snapper. Now let's go get that white catfish.